Hey everybody, this is Mr. Brooks. Hopefully you guys can hear me and everything's coming up okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about budget. Oh, this is class for September 30th. So we have made it to October, ladies and gentlemen. I want to make sure that I could kind of go over last time I talked about you have fixed expenses and variable expenses. And this is a really important concept. Okay. So, fixed expenses were what you cannot control in the short term. There are things like insurance that you have to pay every month. Use it a lot, use it a little bit. You're going to pay for insurance, housing. Okay, you're going to housing, is something you can control in the long term because you can choose where you want to live. You can downsize or get a roommate. But in the long term, you're going to have to pay for the rent if you're there a lot or there a little bit. Okay, variable expenses are something like eating out because you can eat out less. You can eat at home more. It's stuff like entertainment. How much are you going to spend at the movies? Clothing. Some people go shopping as therapy. Some people don't go shopping as therapy. So my clothing expenses are very different than my wife's, and both of those are variables. It's something we both can control. Joke about my wife not being able to control shopping for clothes. So it's really big to understand what category your expenses fall in, and then understand how you can control those expenses when you're looking to be disciplined about making your budget. Okay. When it says like which is more important, that's talking about like in the long term, controlling your fixed expenses is very important. You can control how much you spend on housing. You can control how much you spend on insurance to a point when you shop for insurance. Some people get an insurance company and they stay with them for 30 years. I am told that you should shop for insurance every 3 to 4 years because your insurance company will raise your rates every year. And they do that because they know there is a cost to you in time and mental energy to shop for insurance. So people don't like to do it. So they can raise the insurance rates. And there is no, they're out to maximize their profit. So that's a big deal. I want to make sure you guys take away from last week. Okay, I want to talk about giving also because somewhere in your budget. Oh, one more thing. This is directly connected to your spending activity assignment. In your spending activity assignment, there's 3 types of expenses: periodic and fixed and variable. And so I'm connecting the lecture to that assignment. Okay. All right. What about giving? So some students come up to me and they say, Mr. Brooks, I don't understand why people give money. But I would make the argument that giving is incredibly important. And not necessarily when you're young, you can give time. Right now, you guys are broke. I'm assuming you're broke. And so you can give back in your time and your talent. But when you do make it in life, and hopefully you make it in life, where you have a good job that pays a decent amount of money, or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you've benefited from a system somewhere, giving is really important to make your community the way you want it to be made. So people give money to schools so they have good schools, so the kids in their community are getting educated and have a good safe place to be. Some people give money to the United Way because the United Way does things like job improvement for other people, or they do like Boy Scouts, or they do different civic organizations. Some people give money to the ACLU to fight for injustice and help people with human rights. Some people give money to churches because churches provide important places in the community for people to gather. Giving is a way to we give as humans because we want to feel good about ourselves. We want to feel like we're making the world a better place, and it has an important part of your budget. Some people will give too much money and they will hurt themselves financially, or they'll put themselves at risk financially because they don't have enough liquidity or cash flow. Okay. And some people won't give enough. And you have tax implications where you are rewarded in the tax system for giving money to charity, and that you can write that off on your taxes. Um, and some people, they never give money to charity and they just try to pass down their wealth to other people. And I have opinions about that. But um, don't write off giving to charity. Giving to charity can be really important. Okay. All right. Why don't people have a budget? Why doesn't everybody have a budget? Um, it takes discipline and time, and it takes energy to have a budget. It takes it. There's a cost there. Okay. Um, and so, I think people get scared. They don't know how to budget. They don't know where to start. So there's lots of different reasons. But I'm trying to expose you to 3 different ways to budget. You have the Bean Game budgeting assignment, where you categorize how you want to spend your limited resources. I'm giving you the spending activity assignment, where you list and match your income and your expenses. And then you're doing the saving by percentages assignment, the PBL, where you are trying to allocate your spending by a percentage. So, for example, housing. Housing is the big thing that comes first. We talked about the average spending in an American household. Housing was the biggest. And I would never try to spend over a quarter of my income in housing. I wouldn't. Why? Because there's a risk, and we call it house poor, right? You could put all of your money into paying for the house, and that goes into insurance also, and taxes, and it goes into maintaining your house. And um so when you spend over 25% of your income on a house, it puts you at risk of not being able to afford other bills that come up, like transportation, like food, like medicine. Okay. So understanding what percentage of your income goes to an expense is actually a really good way of balancing that budget, or guiding the principles of your budget. Okay. All right. So on the assignment, I said last week that for the interview, I would recommend interviewing a friend or an acquaintance. And again, we talked about, like, don't criticize them. They might say, like, hey, I have no savings. Don't say something mean like, well, you should be saving. Um, your relationship with them. Just be aware that money is still taboo for some people. And if somebody's sharing their financial life with you, that is them being very brave and open and taking that risk. So be kind to them. Okay. On part 3, I'm going to show you what I do. Okay. This is my spreadsheet for how I did it. All right. And I have all of my different spending, and I categorize them. So some are housing, some are transportation, some are food. This was the numbers given monthly. So this is what the family turned into you. And then this is just, if you look up here, this is the function. If you type in equal sign, and then you type in, like, you can type in a function where you can multiply or add or divide. And so it's essentially the monthly times 12, right? And then when you have it here, like, so this is B2 times 12, you can click right here and drag down and it autofills. Okay. And so you can use functions to help you. Now, this is a conditional function where it says for a given range, you're going to add up everything if it's given this. And if you click on it, you can see it's this. So everything that says housing here, it adds it up and you can see the total. Okay. And that's the same thing for all these, everything for transportation. All right. And so here's my totals, and this family spends $63,060. And then for this, it's just a simple percentage, right? It's the total of their spending. Well, it's their spending for the category divided by their total spending, right? You can see that right there. And then I have to make a new percentage. And so here I've just typed in what I think I want to spend. And you can see I have the sum also. So that's sum. And then this gives the percentage of those. And so that's how I'm going to easily make changes and see if I can fit this family's budget into the new percentages. Okay. I'm a big believer in technology, and I think technology makes our lives better. You might not be, you might be more of a estimating type of person, and that's fine. But I want to encourage you to try to replicate this or something like this for yourself so that you can play around with it. So it's not just here's an hour of my time and this is the best I got. Okay. You can spend an hour of your time trying to, guess and get the percentages just so. Or you can set up something like this and you can play with it and see what the possibilities are. Okay. And then when you make a budget for yourself, I want you to know that, you can track your spending and you can allocate your spending based on a Google Sheet also. So you can use that in your life and make your life easier. Okay. There's a YouTube video right here, and this tells you how to do everything you need. So I'm going to post this in Google Classroom, and you can use it for PBL Part 3. Now, there was a question. Somebody said, Mr. Brooks, there is I have to do the word. The word is, what's the word? I have to think of the word. The word is savings. Okay, savings. Like the family has a lot of savings. So in your Google Sheet, type the word savings. Okay, where was I? Okay, so the student asked me like, "Hey, Mr. Brooks, on Google Classroom it says one date, and on the lesson plan it says another date. Always go by the lesson plans." Okay, first of all, there's no penalty for turning in a little late, and there's no penalty for turning in early. So you can kind of do it asynchronously, but the recommended time and to help me with my grading, turn it in on the lesson plan document date. Okay, so for example, our lesson plan document here, it says, oh, did I put this in yet? Fall break jump. Look at this. I made this fall break jump. Click right here, and then boom, you go right to fall break. Isn't that cool? You guys have, oh, this is geometry. This is geometry. Fall. Algebra 2. Okay, well, it's not going to be there, but this is due. You basically are doing the PBL for the rest of the week, and then you have your assignments in Econ Lowdown. I'm going to go back and check Econ Lowdown over fall break and see what you do, and then Tuesday and Wednesday you're primarily finishing up this PBL. So make it a good one, okay? And I'll see you Tuesday at 9:15. Have a great fall break. There's no school next week, remember. And yeah, and then let me know if you have any questions. Okay. All right. Have a great day.